Harriet Trudell was another young woman in Nevada. She relocated with her husband and two young children in the early 1960s because her husband found, who was an electrician, he found work with Titan Missile at the Nevada test site, a very lucrative job, wonderful pay, so they relocated across the states to the desert in the heat of the summer, as Harriet likes to tell the story. She had been active in politics in her youth in the South. Now, Harriet grew up in the segregated South. She was born in Alabama. Her mother died when she was, I believe, 10 years old. Her mother had a stroke and unfortunately died. So Harriet, because of her father's work, he had to travel. He had two young children, so Harriet and her younger brother lived with her maternal grandparents for a number of years in Florida. Retired grandparents who belonged to the yacht club that didn't allow Jews or blacks, and Harriet remembers seeing the signs segregating the swimming area, clearly depicting a hands-off for certain groups of people, and the thought never crossed her mind that this is something abhorrent. Now, when Harriet was 16, she accompanied her father to the National Democratic Convention. And when Hubert Humphrey gave his civil rights speech, the entire Alabama delegation stood up and walked out, save her father. And Harriet talks about that moment as the life-changing epiphany for her. Suddenly she realized that she had been living in a segregated world. And she likes to say she went home from the National Convention a wild woman. She was politicized and she was going to create change, and she did. And she kept that conviction with her as a young mother in Nevada. Before she moved, she organized unions. She was very involved in labor organizing. So she took those skills when she found herself in Nevada, a young mother, and she started looking for ways to become involved. The League of Women Voters was there. She joined that. She saw the segregation that was prevalent in Las Vegas, and she started getting involved with Ruby Duncan, the other members of Operation Life. She marched with them on the Strip, protesting the status of the poor, the welfare cuts that were demanded in the early 70s, reducing the monthly stipend for a mother of 3 children to $144 a month. Not something anyone could live on. So it was really draconian policies that were in place. And it took a coalition of not only poor welfare mothers, but middle-class women like the Harriet Trudells, the Dorothy Eisenbergs, and others, Naomi Melizers, to get involved to effect change.